Take the glowing splinter and place it in the sample of gas. If it ignites, the gas is oxygen. So take a wooden splint, a wooden blown splint or a wooden blown splint, a wooden blown splint, and place it in the sample of what? Of gas. The sample 40, sample of gas. So take a wooden glowing splint and place it in the sample of gas. If the glowing splint reignites, then the gas, the sample of gas is oxygen. So from there, we have tested the presence of oxygen in a gas jar. So that is all about what I have to teach you concerning about the chemical testing of oxygen. I don't remember the number of the example, but you have another example here. Okay, with respect to this session, let us call this example 1. Respective to session 5, it's example 2. We're using the same reference, refer nectar from 2. Refer nectar from 2. Refer nectar from 2 of 2004. Question 4C. This question actually tests your understanding on the concept that I have taught you. The question asks you list the 2 chemical properties of oxygen gas. List the 2 chemical properties of oxygen gas. So the question asks you that to list the 2 chemical properties of oxygen. So the solution for this question, we say that refer Section 5. Section 5 of oxygen. This is section 5? Yeah, of oxygen, where I taught you 60 chemical properties of oxygen. But you may choose either of these. So the first one, oxygen reacts non-metal to form acidic oxide. And the other ones, we say that oxygen has no actions on calcium hydroxide. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I've talked about physical properties of oxygen. I've talked about the chemical properties of oxygen, and I've talked about chemical testing of oxygen. And we are done with all of those parts. Right now, I would like to take you into the next part, which it is still chemical reaction of what? Of Okay, so in the case right now, let me teach you about uses of oxygen. Uses of oxygen. Where do we use oxygen in our daily life? First of all, I and you, in order to breathe, we need oxygen in. Uses of what? Of oxygen. So he said that life on earth depends very much on the presence of oxygen life on earth depends very much on the presence of oxygen. So life on earth depends very much on the presence of what? On the presence of oxygen. Life on earth depends very much on the presence of oxygen and what? Oxygen in the air. So our life, plants' life, animal life depends on this one. Life on earth depends very much on the presence of what? Of oxygen in air. At the introduction. So life on earth depends very much on the presence of oxygen in air. Life on earth depends very much on the presence of oxygen in air. When we say life, we don't mean about somebody's life, including your life, including my life. So it depends very much on the presence of oxygen in air. ladies and gentlemen, say that animals and plants, both on land and in water, need oxygen gas. Animals and plants, both on land and water, animals and plants, both on land and water, need oxygen gas. Okay, so say that the animals, both animals and plants, on land and water, both animals on land and plants on land, and both animals on water and plants on water, need oxygen gas. Okay, so say animals and plants both on land and water need oxygen gas. Some industrial processes need oxygen gas. Some industrial process So some industrial processes need oxygen gas. Okay, so some industrial processes also need what? Oxygen gas. Need oxygen gas during the So some industrial processes need oxygen gas during the production. Some industrial processes also need oxygen gas during the production of different substances, of different industrial substances. So this is just an introduction of uses of what? Of oxygen. Okay? Uses of oxygen. So think about uses. If in life, because the sentence says life on earth depends very much on the presence of oxygen in air. So animals and plants both on land and water need oxygen gas. So keep thinking about how you can meet such kind of the demand and how you can answer the question about what I taught you. You have to answer it wisely. So my dear students, let us continue to see uses of oxygen and actually be focusing on how do we use oxygen in daily human life. So as I've introduced it to you, this is just an introduction. Life on Earth depends very much on the presence of oxygen in air. So the air, the atmosphere should contain oxygen in order to support life of the living organism, including myself and yourself. If you have any question about uses of oxygen, then you can ask me in the comment section, please. Animals and plants, both on land and water, need oxygen gas. So animals need, we as animals, we need oxygen. And even plants, our closest friends, also need oxygen. Also, some industrial processes, this is actually that animals, so it means animals need oxygen. The second group, plants needs oxygen. Animals on land need oxygen, animals in water need oxygen. Plants on land need oxygen, and plants in water need oxygen. But also some industrial processes also need oxygen during the productions of a particular product, during production of a particular product. So, particular product. Simply, oxygen gas is highly used in daily life. So simply, oxygen is highly used in daily life. Okay, so if that's the case now, the following are some of the uses of oxygen in daily life. The following are found 7. I'll mention 5 and then leave 2 as the homework for you. The following are the uses of oxygen in daily life. I've taught you how you can prepare oxygen, what is oxygen, and then right now I've taught you about physical properties of oxygen, chemical properties of oxygen. Now we have to know the applications. Where do you use oxygen in daily life? So the first application, not first in importance, but first in mentioning or in teaching, oxygen gas is used, so oxygen is used in respiration. So oxygen is used in respiration. Oxygen is used in respiration of living things. So we living things, so it's a oxygen is used in respiration of living things. So living things need oxygen in respiration. So oxygen is used in respirations of living things or living organisms. How oxygen is used in respiration? That's very important questions. That's very important questions that a senior student has to ask his or her own teacher. How oxygen is used in respirations of living things? Because in living things we have animals and the plants. So you say that animals, when you say animals, a good example of animal is Olenjolaim. Animals, example, Olenjolaim. We breathe in. So animal breathe in what? Oxygen. During what? So breathe in oxygen from air. From air, if you are in air, and breathe from water, if you are diving or we are in water. So animals, example, Olenjolaim, breathe in. So we are breathing, we are taking in oxygen from what? From air or from what? From water. Remember to support. Why are we taking in oxygen? support our life on earth. So that is about animals. So we use oxygen, we breathe in oxygen. Right now I'm breathing in oxygen, you are breathing in oxygen, it means you are taking in oxygen for respiration. So for respiration, I need oxygen, you need oxygen. Even a cat needs oxygen, a cat needs oxygen, a cow needs oxygen, a dog needs oxygen. So we need oxygen as breathe in. So we used to teach in biology what it means of respiration. Then we say plants, also plants. So we say that breathe out. So now plants gives us breathe outward, breathe out oxygen. So plants breathe out oxygen. Plants breathe out oxygen during photosynthesis. During photosynthesis process. So plants breathe out oxygen during photosynthesis process. During photosynthesis process. That's all. Then we go to the second use of oxygen. Oxygen is used in respiration of living things. Oxygen is used in respiration in excuse me. Oxygen is used in breathing. So the first use of oxygen is used in breathing. Breathing of body, breathing of living things. So now the second use, oxygen, is used in respiration. In respiration of living things. I changed in the first use the word respiration because I was talking about breathing in and breathing out of living things. So how oxygen is used in respiration? The first question, how oxygen is used in breathing system. So this the just a simple question. How oxygen is used in respiration. So we said one of the chemical properties of oxygen is it's a good or a strong oxidizing agent. So oxygen used in respiration to oxidize food. To oxidize food that we have been taking in, maybe in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening or at night. So used to eat food, and even also animals used to eat food, and even also plants used to make foods for themselves. So that's how oxygen is used. So you say you have a sentence state of during respiration. During respiration, oxygen is used to oxidize food, oxidize food. So to oxidize food, to produce energy, carbon dioxide, and water vapor. So there is food to produce it. We'll teach you this concept in detail in biology. Produce. So during respiration, oxygen is used. Oxygen is used to oxidize food to produce what? To produce energy. Produce energy, carbon dioxide, and the water vapor. So during respiration, whether it is aerobic respiration or anaerobic respiration, oxygen is used to oxidize food to produce energy, carbon dioxide, and water vapor. It occurs in animals as well as in plants. So it means that respiration takes place in both animals and the plants. That's the second use of oxygen in daily life. That's not enough. Oxygen also has a practical use. Oxygen is used in hospitals to save life. Oxygen is used in hospitals to save life of the mankind, of the human beings. How oxygen is used in hospitals to save life? There are two groups of people who can be saved, who can save their life by use of oxygen. The first one we said are premature babies. The first group, premature babies who cannot breathe well. Premature babies and patients. So this is the first group, premature babies and patients. Patients with breathing in problems. Can be kept in oxygen tanks. Oxygen tanks. So premature babies and patients with breathing in problems can be kept in oxygen tanks. The oxygen tanks assist breathing system. Assist the breathing system of what? Of both premature babies and the patients with breathing problems. So that the piece of information that you need as a chemist when learning the use of uses of oxygen. But the cellulose. First use of oxygen. Oxygen is used by mountain climbers. Oxygen is used by mountain climbers. How? So oxygen is used when you say oxygen, you're talking about oxygen gas. Here we are using oxygen gas, oxygen gas, oxygen gas, oxygen gas. It's used by mountain climbers. By mountain climbers to breathe in. To breathe in when climbing the tall mountain. Climbing the tall mountain. And climbing the tall mountain due to poor supply of oxygen at high altitude. At a high altitude. Okay, oxygen gas is used by the mountain climbers to breathe in when they are climbing the tall mountains. Why? Why the mountain climbers use oxygen when they are climbing a tall mountain? This is a scientific experience, so we can call it a scientific observation. It has been observed that if a mankind or a human being is breathing in the normal sea level, then there's no any breathing problems due to the environmental problem. But when a human being is going to the tall mountain, which we call it a high altitude, then what's going to happen? So it means that the human being is going to experience some breathing problems. So it means that when we climb the tall mountain, we'll experience breathing problems. We'll be breathing difficultly, breathing in difficultly and breathing out, but especially breathing in difficultly, it will be a challenge in higher altitude. So the best solution, or the mountain climbers, for example, the mountain climbers of Mountain Kilimanjaro, or the mountain climbers of Mountain Meru in Tanzania, those are it means that they have to carry oxygen bags, and these oxygen bags actually that contains oxygen, and they can breathe in oxygen by using the pipes instead of depending the atmospheric oxygen or oxygen in air of the tall mountain. So there's a poor supply of oxygen at high altitude. That's the first applications of oxygen. So it means if you don't have oxygen, if for example we don't have oxygen, then climbing the tall mountain, it will be a dangerous tourism business. Why? Because people may lose life when they are climbing the tall mountain, like in Mountain Kilimanjaro. So the first use of oxygen in the human daily life, oxygen is used in industry. As you said, some industrial process need oxygen. So oxygen is used in industries. So oxygen used in industries. Oxygen gas is used so we say that the oxyacetylene or oxygenethine or oxygenethine. So the oxyacetylene or oxygenethine, this is the organic compound. We call it the oxyacetylene or oxygenethine. Ethine contains 2 carbons and 4 hydrogen. So the oxyacetylene flame, which is used for well, so the oxyacetylene flame is used for welding. So welding means kuchomelea. Welding and cutting. So it's used for welding and cutting. Welding and cutting what? It's used in welding and cutting very thick steel. Very thick steel plates in steel industry. So the oxyacetylene or oxygenethine flame, this is used for welding and cutting very thick steel plates, very thick, not thin steel plates like just in domestic or in most of the business places. So it's used to cut very thick steel plates in steel industry to make small pieces for the particular use. So those are the 5 applications of oxygen in the daily life. So as I promised you that I should give you a homework that will challenge you or will make you to find some information when you are doing your own revision. So now it's a time for the homework, and after this homework will be end of session 5. So the homework is this one. So explain briefly the other 2 uses of oxygen in daily life. So that's the question that you have to. So this is example. The example 3. So ladies and gentlemen, according to the syllabus of chemistry for ordinary secondary education, Form 1 to Form 4, especially in the sections of chemistry for the Form 2, this is the end of the first topic that's called the oxygen. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say this is the end of session 5, but by God's grace, also this is the end of chapter 5. So it's the end of session 5, and also it's the end of chapter 1, which means oxygen. So I've been teaching you oxygen in session 00, session 1, session 2, session 3, session 4, and this session 5. So I think that there's no session 0, session 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. So this is session 5. This is the end of session 5, and this is the end of chapter 1, which means oxygen. Maybe we can have session 6 where you can solve different past papers or different problems about oxygen in future. So at this moment, I've tried my level best to teach you even beyond what you are supposed to know as a Form 2 student, whether QT or reciter or a pre-Form 2 student. So firstly, I would like to thank God. So I thank God who have been with me in this moment of teaching you the beauty of chemistry for the Form 2. So in order to honor God and give Him all the glory and praise for this great thing that He has done in us, let us pray and having a thanksgiving prayer to our Father who have taught us oxygen in a very different way. Our Father who is in heaven, we come before your presence. I come myself as the teacher, Olenjolaim. I thank you for your calling, and I thank you for your gifting. I glorify your holy name, and I thank you for what you have taught me in oxygen, in this topic of oxygen. You have taught me differently from how you have taught me during my Form 2 education. And even at the time when I've been teaching other students, you didn't teach me in this level. Father, I thank you. I thank you for the strengths that you have given me. I thank you for the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom about oxygen that you have given me from the first day we began to this day. Father, we give you all the praise and honor for everything that has been done. I thank you also for the online students who have taken advantage to learn this topic online at a distance, anywhere, at any time. Father, I bless them and let them apply the informations that they have been learning step to step in this topic. In Jesus' name, amen. So thank you very much for being with me from the first session to the last sessions of oxygen. Again, I would like to invite you to ask you questions, any questions about session 5, any questions about uses and properties of oxygen in the comment sections of this video. Remember to subscribe. Remember also to visit the playlist of oxygen in order for you to learn the beauty of oxygen systematically. Again, in case you feel from your heart you want to offer our living God your feeling thanksgiving of any amount of money or any materials that will be used, different multimedia materials, you want to offer maybe a microphone, you want to offer a camera, you want to offer maybe a lighting, just multimedia lights. So you are only welcome, and God is going to bless you abundantly as well as you offer it by faith. So you may offer your feeling thanksgiving or any types of offering through this program, so also through this telephone number 0759745331, and registered name is Olenjolaim TAYAI. Your feeling thanksgiving or your feelings actual offering will be used to pay the running cost for this program, because you have a vision of recording more than 600 videos that will teach you about physics, chemistry, and basic mathematics for Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, and Form 4. Keep enjoying the beauty of chemistry. This is the end of oxygen. Join me in the next topic that will be hydrogens, where I will teach you the beauty of hydrogens, and keep trying so many questions about oxygen, and actually that you can take advantage to go beyond of what you've been learning, and then think how you can apply this information to solve real life problems. May God bless you, international student. May God bless you, Tanzanian students. May God bless you, national students. May God bless you, local Form 2 students, and even Form 3 and Form 4. Be blessed until we meet in the next topic That is second topic.